How many parallel universes does it take for the Toronto Maple Leafs to win the Stanley Cup? Welcome to my new YouTube series, Glitch in the Matrix. We'll jump straight into our season mode with the Toronto Maple Leafs here. We'll simulate all the way here to the start of March and just see what the record is looking like. The record is looking really nice and the Toronto Maple Leafs are on their way to the playoffs. It is March now. The Toronto Maple Leafs are leading the Atlantic Division, so it's looking like we do not yet need a parallel universe. I'm pretty confident here we'll just skip another month, and unless we go on a crazy losing streak, it should be a lock that this team makes the playoffs here. At this point, we'll also add the glitches in the Matrix counter right there on top of my camera. Right now we're in April, and the Maple Leafs are still top of the division, and it's looking like they're making the playoffs on their own, so not a single glitch in the Matrix looks to be needed for this team to make the playoffs, which obviously that's the case in real life as well, where they can make the playoffs, but then when playoffs begin, things often go wrong. And I mean, this is pretty realistic. The Toronto Maple Leafs, if you see right there, they've clinched their playoff spot, and that's what they do in real life. They do that in real life all the time, and no glitches in the Matrix are needed, so no surprises here. The season is complete, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to the playoffs, and I actually already skipped one of those playoff games as well, which actually no problem, because we can skip the next two as well, because the Toronto Maple Leafs, they cannot yet lose the series in the first 3 games. So far so good. The Maple Leafs are down 1-2 in the series. We can skip another game and the Maple Leafs win. Also, wouldn't it be cool if wouldn't it be better if I made the glitches in the Matrix background like this? Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, let's do that. So it's game 5 against the Florida Panthers, and the Toronto Maple Leafs lose the game. So the Leafs are now backs against the wall against the Florida Panthers, and let's see what happens in this game. First period, Toronto is up 3-2 against the Panthers. Second period, the game is still 3-2, and it's now the third period, only 10 minutes left. Toronto is still up 3-2. No goals since the first period, and looks like Toronto wins. So the Leafs have pushed this series all the way to Game 7. Game 7 first period. It's 2-1 for the Leafs. Second period, it's 3-2 for the Leafs. And if they're able to win this third period, and they score again, it's 4-2. We'll sim the period here. 4-2. And Toronto advances to round 2 of the playoffs. And we haven't even needed to create another universe. Second round here against the Sabres. How are the Someone seriously needs to explain to me how the Sabres are in the second round and up 3-0 against the Maple Leafs. But that's okay though. Game 4, Toronto. 2-1 Toronto first period. Second period, 3-2 Toronto. And third period, the game is over. Toronto wins 5-2. And the series is 3-1. Game 5 against the Sabres. Toronto, again, they must win. Let's see. 2-0 Buffalo in the first period. Second period, 5-1 Buffalo. And third period, that actually never happened. So it's game 5 against the Buffalo Sabres. And every time something goes wrong, a glitch in the Matrix occurs, the universe splits into 2 versions, and we stay in the version of the universe where the Toronto Maple Leafs did not lose to Buffalo Sabres in 5 games in second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. They actually win the 5th game 4-1 against the Sabres. Game number 6, Toronto must-win situation. First period 2-0. Still 2-0. It's game 6 against the Sabres. Toronto must-win situation once again. Second period, third period. So it's now game 6 against the Sabres. Toronto must-win situation. First period, second period, 2-2. So it's game 6, Toronto against Buffalo. I think you understand how this works at this point. I swear someone's doing this, but like in reverse in real life for the Leafs. I think it's taking a little bit too long if I simulate the game like that every time. Hey, we actually won the game. So yeah, Leafs push to another game 7 here. We have to go into it for game 7 though. First period, the Leafs are up 2-0, and hey, the Leafs actually pull it off. So Leafs win in another game 7 in the playoffs. They defeat the Buffalo Sabres. It only took us 6 parallel universes for that to happen, and we're in the conference finals against the Capitals. First 2 games are a split. We're 1-1 in the series. Next 2 games, Leafs actually win both of these games, and we simulate up to before game 7. And yeah, of course, the Leafs lose 2 in a row, and we're headed to another game 7 in the series. Okay, we have a thriller right here. 3-2 for the Capitals. Can Toronto turn this around on their home ice? They're on the penalty kill. Last minutes. Just a few more moments. Game 7 in the conference finals. Toronto against Washington. And it's a tie game going into the third period. Toronto scores on their home ice. It's 3-2. Robertson scores the go-ahead goal. Can they hold on? And Ovechkin ties it up, but it's still a tie game. Toronto can do this. Myers, they have the lead again. Can they hold on? Last minutes of the game. And unbelievable. Toronto is in the Stanley Cup Finals. What a run from the Leafs. They won 3 game 7s in these playoffs already, and they're headed to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and they're playing against the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers are up 2-1 in the series after 2 games, and now they're up 3-1 against the Leafs. Game 5 in the Stanley Cup Finals, Edmonton against Toronto. Can Toronto pull off the win? They do. 2-1 is your final score, and Toronto forces a game 6 here. It's game 6 now. Toronto on the road in Edmonton. First period, 4-2. 7-2 already for the Edmonton. It's game 6 in the Stanley Cup Finals. 4-1 Edmonton, 7-2. Let's go back to the calendar method here. It just takes a little bit too long to simulate the game every time. Game 6, surely now, game 6. And the Toronto Maple Leafs force yet another Game 7 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Can you believe this, guys? Can you believe this? Every series is Game 7. It's pretty crazy for sure. It's almost like the Leafs would have just lost all of these series unless I... Okay, so Stanley Cup playoffs. It's Game 7. Toronto has been here before already. Game 7. Toronto is up 1-0. Second period, it's a 1-1 game. And third period, it's for the Stanley Cup. Can Toronto pull it off? Oh boy, power play for... Oh, they don't go anywhere, and Toronto on a power play of their own. They get a goal. It's 2-1 for the Leafs. Last moments of the game. We're gonna have to jump in to see the end of this match. Here we are. It's Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's the Leafs. It's the Oilers. Can the Leafs actually pull this off and win the Stanley Cup? Honestly, I thought this was gonna take way more than 12 resets, but let's see if the Leafs choke here. Hyman, Draisaitl, the first line for the Oilers. They get a shot on. Look at that, that's the Stanley Cup. It's in Toronto, guys. Can you believe it? The Leafs are up 2-1, looking to add another one, but no. Matthews, he loses the puck. Here's Arvidsson for the Oilers. Great defense there by the Leafs. The Oilers are pulling their goaltender. McDavid coming in, trying to shoot it. Here's the chance. Can Nylander do it? Can he get the shot on? He's trying to windmill. What is he doing? In typical Leaf style, they give the puck away. Draisaitl in, shoots. No, that would have just been peak content right there. That would have been crazy if the Leafs actually choke like that. There's still time though, 24 seconds. They win the face-off in their own zone. Just 20 seconds left. The net is empty once again. They missed the net. Oilers have one more chance here. They just need to be quick here. Okay. So they just decided to dump it in, I guess. But that doesn't matter. The Leafs have won the Stanley Cup. Can you believe it? Stanley Cup champions, Toronto Maple Leafs. It only took us 12 glitches in the Matrix, 12 parallel universes for this to happen. And this team has done it. And here it is, the Stanley Cup trophy. And there comes the captain, Matthews. He gets to hoist the cup first. You're Stanley Cup champions, Toronto Maple Leafs. So yeah, that's the first episode in this video series. Let me know in the comments what I should try next. I do have a couple of other ideas I want to try using this kind of a same method just to see how many times it takes for certain things to happen. Honestly, 12 times I thought this was gonna take even longer. I thought it was gonna take, you know, like 50 of those resets. But yeah, 12 alternate universes later, Toronto Maple Leafs are your Stanley Cup champions. Something about this definitely does feel like a glitch in the Matrix.